Welcome to Save U.S. Taxes Legally. I want to teach as many U.S. investors, U.S. business owners, U.S. entrepreneurs, U.S. franchise owners, and 1099 income earners how they can save taxes legally with the Spendthrift Trust. Most people have never heard of this, but it's legal. It's in the IRS Tax Code 643B. It comes from England way back when King Henry VIII started the Church of England. That famous king who chopped off his wives' heads decided, hey, let's start a church so I can divorce them. Murder a few ladies? Hey, who cares? He went to go tax the lords and ladies of England. They went back to the 13th century, the Magna Carta, and said, oh, no, King Henry VIII, you can't do this. It's contract law that came to the colonies while we were still part of England. The law firm I work on behalf of inherited a trust that turned 350 years old in 2023. So now it's 2025, it's 352 years old, before we were a country. Our current tax structure that we're under went into effect February of 1913. It was only supposed to be around for a few years, but the United States got involved in World War I. The super rich families of 1913, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Carnegies, the Kennedys, made sure they could save taxes. Well, if they can save taxes, we can save taxes. My name is Sally Gimmon, and I'm the owner of www.thetrustisyou.com. My personal story is I became a real estate investor in 2018 when my mom got sick. Thank God she got better, but she was on the ventilator for 13 months, in a hospital for 15 months. 2019, with my mentor, I wholesaled 7 properties nationwide, bank-owned properties nationwide, paid off all my debt, and had $50,000 in my bank account. Well, we canceled a major St. Patrick's Day party March 17th, 2000 because of COVID. My 3 properties did not pay me on April 1st, and my CPA calls me on April 4th of 2020 to say congratulations. Yes, he congratulated me that I made so much money in 2019. My tax bracket went from 22% to 24%, and I personally owed the federal government $94,000 in short-term capital gains. What? I only had $50,000 saved. It's like, let's set up an appointment and come into my office. Yeah, let's do that. Well, the fantastic book to read is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. I went to bed going, where the heck am I going to get an extra $24,000 when all the court systems are shut down? I wake up the next morning, 5 a.m., because I remember I read an article about the Rockefellers Spendthrift Trust. It's called The Office. It's 7 generations old and has over 400 people under the same EIN or employee identification number. If the Rockefellers can save money, why can't Sally? It took me 5 months. I found the private law firm I work for. I started both my business and Beneficial Spendthrift Trust. I said, hey, do you have an affiliate program? I want to teach this in my real estate group. I got signed up. Yay, Sally. My first deal for the Beneficial Spendthrift Trust, that's first... Let me get back up. Paul Benson wrote 5 specific trusts to save specific money. Today, we're only going to talk about the business trusts for U.S. business owners, entrepreneurs, franchisee owners, and 1099 income earners. You'll save at least 90% on federal income taxes, and in 43 states, no longer pay state income taxes. Yeah, it's an amazing thing. I just talked to a painter today who is in New Jersey. He makes about $250,000 a year, and we're going to save him $56,456 for the entire 2026. He's just like, are you kidding me? Send me the contract. $56,456. This is his money to pay off his mortgage, to put back into his business, buy a new vehicle, take his family on a well-deserved vacation, give to his favorite charity, save for retirement. He's just like, I didn't know I could do this. And that's not including state income taxes, New Jersey state income taxes on top of that, because I have to research that. Now, with the business trust, unfortunately, I cannot help W-2 income earners, but plenty of my clients have both a W-2 job and let's call it a side hustle. The 1099 income comes out of your 1040 tax return. 97% of Americans file a 1040 tax return. The trust files a 1041 tax return. And you'll have access to the money because you get a new EIN, employee identification number, a new bank account at the bank of your choice, and you'll have access to the money with a debit card. That's the business trust. The Beneficial Trust is for all U.S. investors. You will stop paying the following taxes. You will no longer pay capital gains when you sell something at a profit. There's short term, which is a year or less, and long term, which is a year or more. Short term is going to affect you when you wholesale, you fix and flip, you sell crypto, you do options trading, you're a forex investor, you do auction houses, or maybe you do tax liens. Long-term capital gains are a year or more and are either 15 or 20% when you sell your business. I just helped somebody who was going to sell a business for $3 million, started at his kitchen table. At 15%, he got to save $450,000. At 20%, he gets to save $600,000. I'm not a CPA, so I can't tell him which number it will be, but he's still saving six figures. You'll no longer pay interest income taxes. If you are a passive income, maybe you're in mutual funds, you're in a Riich, you are doing subject to real estate, you're doing the BRRRR strategy. Personally, I have notes where I'm the paper on the house, people pay me their mortgage, I'm the Bank of Sally. You do creative financing, seller financing, or you're a forex investor. Yes, forex investors, you get taxed twice. You need the Spendthrift Trust. You'll no longer pay dividend income taxes. Again, taxed just like federal income taxes, between 10% to 37%, depending on your tax bracket. If you're in the stock market, you're a day trader, you're doing futures trading, commodities trading, or you're living off of dividends. You'll no longer pay rental income taxes if you're a real estate investor. I don't care if you have short-term rentals like Airbnb, vacation rentals. Maybe you have 3 doors, 5 doors, 10 doors, 20 doors, 100 doors. Maybe you're in multifamily, apartment buildings. Maybe you have commercial property or you're doing Airbnb arbitrage. Yes, you can move a property with a depreciation schedule into the trust. Yes, you can move a property with cost averaging into the trust, because I didn't go over the four ways you save. Number one, you're going to save taxes year after year, generation after generation. Number two, you're going to keep your information completely private. Unfortunately, when I became a real estate investor, they told me to get an LLC for every one of my properties. They did not tell me that anyone can go to the Secretary of State or the Corporation Commission and research either my name or the name of my LLC and get all the information. 40% of LLCs, S Corps, and C Corps get sued every year. The trust is on the federal level. Third way you're going to save, talking about lawsuits. All lawsuits become frivolous. Can't stop you from being sued, but if the renter's dog gets out and bites the mailman, and the mailman tries to sue you, you just send him the first page of the trust, and his attorney knows he can't get money from a stone. And then the fourth way, you leave a legacy for generations after generations. Now the fifth tax the Beneficial Trust will save is royalty income taxes. If you are an actor, an actress, a musician, you're an author, you're an artist, you're in the NFT world, you have copyrights, patents, or intellectual property, they're taxed a little bit less, between 10% to 35%. I want to invite every single person on this Zoom or on this TikTok to go out to www.thetrustisyou.com and learn the secret of the rich. It took me 5 months and a $94,000 tax bill to figure out how I could personally save taxes. If I can do it, y'all can do it. I want to say thank you for coming to my live, and I hope you learned something new. Have a beautiful week. Thank you for coming to my live, and I hope you learned something new. Have a beautiful week.